Hey. Hi, how are you? Seems just a little dark. Seems a little dark for me. Just a little orange. Just go ahead. Oh, hey Slayer, what's up? How are you? Hi Slayer. By the way, I cannot read your messages because you must be saying something naughty. Were you? Stop saying naughty words, man. Be nice, be cool. This is my second live. Hey Slayer, what's up? You're still there. No, I just don't know why, but like, I'm just getting all the error messages. It seems like someone is trolling. Hey Slayer, I can see that. Yeah, I can see your messages. I can see your message. Yeah, pale. What do you mean pale? Yeah. Anyway, here's my second live. Great. Perfect. Here is my second live that I'm about to do. Your body is so tea. What do you mean? What do you mean my body is so tea? Alright. By the way, you guys are here early. I'm doing a little bit of a setup, just letting you know. Thank you for being here, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. As a small content creator, you know, I need everyone. I appreciate everyone, anyone who's here to watch me. So yeah, I am very thankful having you all. Thank you very much for staying here with me. Yeah, 100%. Okay. How's my look? How does my face look? Do I look good? Do I handsome? Or is Korean people looking bad? I don't know. A lot of people were telling me that Korean people are so naughty. I am leaving. I am sorry. I have to go. My friend's 5th birthday. Wow. He's 5 years old. Wow. What are you guys gonna do? Are you guys gonna do drink a lot of bubble tea and get caffeinated? That sounds the worst thing that you can do. Hi Marie. Hi. Where you come from? I'm from Korea, but I live in New York, man. That's your older brother? So how old are you, Slayer? How old are you? How old are you, man? How old are you? Yeah, how old are you, man? All right, you're 4, and you know how to type. You're such a good liar. I mean, I wish I can believe you. You know, I would love to talk to 4 years old and learn about what he thinks. But yeah, I really wish I could believe that you're 4 years old. I really, really wish. Hey, Slayer, how much do you know about K-pop? How much do you know? Do you know anything about K-pop? Nothing? Maybe? Maybe not. Do you know anything about K-pop? Maybe, maybe not, right? I mean, who cares about K-pop? Honestly, right? Who cares about K-pop? Let's see. Let's see if this angle is okay. Pop Demon Hunter, K-pop Demon Hunter. Oh, you're taking out the K in the K-pop Demon Hunter. Wow, that's mean. That's mean, you know. That's mean. Bye bye. Oh, Slayer. I think you followed me already, right? I think you are following me. Okay, I think that's not bad. Hey, I'm back. Setting this up takes so much work, so much effort. Okay. Here's another angle. Close up. Okay, I think I'm ready. Great. I think I'm ready. Okay, I think I'm finally ready. Is there anyone out there talking? Chat? No? Hey, chat. Is there anyone out there? No? Not yet. I see a lot of hearts. Hi, Juju. Hi. Hi, Juju. How are you? Doing good? Hi, Juju. Hi. Okay, I think this is good. This is finally good. Okay, let's start here. Juju, you're good? All right. Juju, where are you from? Are you from Philippines or Malaysia? Where are you from? Are you from Southeast Asia? Which country are you from? Alright, I feel like today's live is not gonna be easy. Definitely not. I have a bad feeling about it. But you know, I've been having bad feeling for a very long time. You're from Mexico, huh? Hey, Juju, what is SKZ? Hi, hi, Ayaki. Hi. Hi, Ayaki. How are you? Hi, Lulu. Hi. What? Wait, why are you crying? Is it that bad that I don't know what's SKZ? Should I not know what that means? Oh, Stray Kids, right? Of course I know Stray Kids. Yeah. Hi, Marchies. Hi, Jay. Hi. What's up? What's up, everyone? What's up? Hello, everyone. Hi. It took me a very long time, but I'm here, alive. Hi, Marchies. Hi. All right, guys. Here's another chat that I want to do. I want to tell you more about the K-netizens. Do you guys want to learn about the? Do you guys know what K-netizens is? Do you? Do you know? Do you know what is K-netizens? Do you? I hope you do. It's okay if you don't, because I will teach you. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to teach you what is K-netizen. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm starting my camera on. I am starting my TikTok live. Hey, you like this shirt? Yeah, it's pretty cute, right? Yeah, I love it. I really like it. It's my favorite shirt, honestly. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's my favorite shirt. Hi, Mia. Hi. Hi, Mia. I'm waiting. So, guys, I'm waiting for some Southeast Asian friends who's been following me very much. I'm right now. If you're curious, what I'm waiting for my Southeast Asian friends for them to join my live because I have a lot of juicy conversation that I want to share about. I have a lot of juicy conversation, and I think they will like it. I think they will like it very much. Yeah. So hopefully they will enjoy this conversation. And yeah. Okay, let me turn on my mic. Hi Marches. Hi Andy. Hi Capitan. Hi. Juju. Yeah, my shirt is lovely. Hi guys. Hi. All right. Let me start. Okay. Cool. Okay. So if you've been on the internet in the past few weeks, okay, start from here. Okay, so if you've been on the internet in the past few weeks, you've probably seen the hashtags like hashtag siblings, hashtag K-netizen racist, boycott Korea. Oh, I haven't started this. Okay, I need to restart this. My mic was not turned on. Okay, guys, let me restart this. Hey everyone, my name is Leo. Thank you for joining my live. My name is Leo. Let me do the mic check. Mic check. Okay, great. Okay, guys, listen up. So for the past 2 weeks or something, if you've been on the internet in the past few weeks, you've probably seen the hashtags. Basically, all the sibling hashtags, right? The hashtag that says hashtag siblings against racism, hashtag boycott Korea, hashtag boycott Korea, boycott products. It's been everywhere. Marches, you think Korean citizens populated the social media? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe we did not. So, but here's the thing though, right? If you were like a lot of other people, your first reaction was probably one of the two things. Either, what is going on? Or, okay, I've seen this before. Maybe it's just another war tweeter. Maybe it's just another Twitter war, right? I mean, war in the Twitter, it always happens. People love it. Like, we are such a violent people. Yeah, so, yeah, guys, like, but here's the thing though. This isn't just another fan argument. There's actually a lot going on underneath the surface. There are structural reasons, historical reasons, psychological reasons that explains why this keeps happening. And most of the context, nobody's explaining properly, I think. So that is why I'm here. My name is Leo. Thank you for my new channel on my YouTube. Here I'm going to talk about, let's dig deeper. Who is this K-netizens? Guys, I am here to talk about K-netizens. I definitely spelled it wrong. So guys, who is K-netizens? I'm going to type it with PC방 because most likely those K-netizens are in PC방 right there, just like that. Yeah, March. Yeah, you wondered, right? Like, who are those people? Like, look at those. Who are those K-netizens, right? Probably. I'm not screen sharing. Yeah. Yeah, like if you're curious about like if you're curious, who are those people writing those terrible comments about Southeast Asian people? Like I was very curious. Like here's the thing, as a Korean person, I have a lot of friends who are Southeast Asian people, and I was shocked for those comments that K-netizen people were making. It was so cruel. It was out of the line, and basically, most likely, it was these people who are at. I'm assuming that most of the people in PC방, they're smoking, drinking soju a little bit, and doing like they are like they are like raising, right? Like I'm imagining that those Korean people are raising in PC방 and writing nasty comments about Southeast Asian people, and I think that's what's happening right now. I think look at those coffee. Have you, by the way, guys, have you been to PC방 lately? Like it's very fancy. The internet cafe in Korea is something. You can buy food. You can basically live there, which is not healthy choice that people may do, right? Yeah. So before we can talk about this conflict, I think we need to answer a basic question that a surprising number of people are skipping over. What is K-netizens really, actually, right? The internet users, right? So let me chat. Who is K-netizen? I will give you. Okay, so Manus, guys, Manus will be our best friend doing this work of searching. So guys, listen up. The short answer, K-netizens just means South Korean internet users. That's it, at the most basic level. But the social category, what people mean when they say K-netizen did this, or K-netizen said that, that's way more specific and way more complicated. Here's a better way to think about it. South Korea has one of the highest internet penetration rates in the world. They got high-speed broadband. Very early. That means they got high-speed broadband very early. That means they built their entire online culture early, fast, and dense. It becomes its own ecosystem. Yeah, why don't we look for, can you share me data graphic of South Korea internet penetration rate? Cool. Average, show me graphic. Hello. Okay, so here we go. We are getting the first negative comments from G. Hi G, what's up? 당신네 동포들은 인종차별주의자들이야. 필리핀. Yeah. Thank you for watching my live, by the way. Thank you. By the way, I'm so sorry for. Here's the video that we are trying to talk about, right? Okay, so this is so what's interesting about Korea is that there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who use internet. internet penetration rate in South Korea versus global average. Here's the number. South Korea has significant differences with this simple text-based bar chart. South Korea has 97% of internet penetration rate versus global average. Global average is only 73%. As you can see, South Korea's internet penetration is exceptionally high, with nearly the entire population online. So what you might be curious is, okay, so everyone is online, everyone is typing something in their online, Twitter or X or social media. So let's specifically talk about who is those K-netizens, right? Hey G, what's up? You're not a pusher? What do you mean you're not a pusher? I think the light got turned. Okay, there are a lot going on, and I have no idea why I have no idea why the light is off. God damn it. Yeah, it's too dark. It's way too dark for my face. 전과 똑같아요. 한국인들이 필리핀 사람들 보고. I don't know. I don't know why Korean people are talking bad about Philippines. Okay, so well, by the way, there was not a very important conversation that we had to have. Okay, I'm back. Hi G, thank you for staying with me. Please stay with me. I will tell you more about why K-netizens are so brutally mean, you may say. Okay, so you may think why K-netizens are so mean, right? So, bro, problem? What? Okay, so where was I? Okay, so, okay, I know where I am. Okay, South Korea has one of the highest internet penetration rates in the world. They got high speed broadband very early, and yeah, basically everyone is using online. And inside that ecosystem, you have different types of people doing very different things. You have civic activists. You have civic activists who use internet to organize protests, petitions. What are we talking about? Yeah, I'm sure. So there must be a lot of people who are using internet for the good use, right? You're using internet to the work. I mean, yeah. So the benefit of using internet for everyone is, yeah, they are data-centric people. The newses are fast. Everyone is fast learning about new things because everyone can have their internet to access anything and everywhere. However, So let's talk about the K-fan group, right? If you're a K-pop group, let me skip that actually. Okay, so these are three groups that are called, okay, so guys, these are three groups that are called K-netizens. The same word, the same word, the same word, which is why it gets so confusing. Okay, what? I'm so confused. Oh, okay. Oh, I get it now. Okay, so in a good way, K-netizen mean the civic activists who use the internet to organize protests, petitions, boycott, charity. You have fandom community, K-pop fans, drama fans who track idol schedules, investigate rumors, mobilize millions of people within hours, and then you have anonymous forum, anonymous forum boards. You have anonymous forum boards where people post memes, controversial opinions, and yes, some genuinely hateful content. That's the problem, right? The problem is that there are a lot of people who are using internet for their work, communicating with people, learning about new things. However, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are using internet for, hey Hugo, what's up? Oh yeah, hey Hugo, are you still learning Colombia in Colombia? How are you doing, man? How's Spanish? Hugo, how's your Spanish? Did it get better? Yeah. So guys, so there are good kind of K-netizens who are using internet. They're having the online activity healthy, communicating, working with people. There are different kinds of K-netizens. The same word, the same group of people who are K-netizens, but who are a little bit different in a lot of different ways. So now, where exactly do these people hang out? The big ones to know, there's Nate Pan. So Nate is like a Korean website. It looks like this. Nate. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what Nate looks like. So in Nate, Pan specifically, Pan is like a part of the Nate website. So in Nate Pan, which functions kind of like a general public forum, somewhere between Reddit and Facebook, right? There's DC inside, which has the which has that image board culture, fast, anonymous, a lot of memes, and there's what is this? What is this word? I don't even know what this means. Improve loading bearing equipment. I think I'm just getting a little tired. I think I'm just a little exhausted. Okay. And there's this improving loading. What? It's called ILBE. What is ILBE? Guys, do you guys know what is ILBE? Okay, so ILBE is historically has been associated with far right, nationalist, and sometimes misogynist content. Okay, so oh yeah, it's a Korean. Okay, I didn't know this word because it's a Korean. I didn't know this word because it's a Korean. Hey Hugo, your Spanish is fluent? Nice, Hugo. You're living a life. I'm jealous. Okay, guys. 일간 best 저장소. Okay, 일배. Okay, now I know what that means. But 일배 is also where a lot of people will be just talking nonsense, basically. 일배 is where people will be talking nonsense to each other, to other people. So, ilbe is where people will be talking, which has historically been associated with far-right, nationalist, and sometimes misogynist content. So Um, Here's the key thing about anonymity, right? I need some water. Guys, listen up. There's there's a thing about being anonymous. What happens if you're anonymous? If you're an anonymous person, you have no guilt in whatever you say, which is part of the freedom of speech, right? Which is the part of the freedom, which is part of freedom speech that really gain power in online. Here's the key thing about anonymity. I guess I'm really tired. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a really long day where I was so worried about where I was having a panic attack, and I forgot to record my, yeah. And I haven't been recording my TikTok live. Great. That is amazing. Great. Give me 1 sec, everyone. Hi, Nemo. Hi, Marchis. Hi, Marianne. Hi. Great. Yeah. Marchis, you're right. It's sad when people are using freedom of speech. It's sad that when people are using freedom of speech to hurt other people. It's very, very sad. Very great. Okay. Anyway, I'm back. My TikTok live hasn't been saved, but I think I can. Maybe I can save it. Maybe I'll be able to use it. Hugo, it was nice seeing you. Yeah. Thanks, Hugo. It was good seeing you, man. All right, so let's get back to the conversation that we were having. Here's the key thing about anonymity. When you post anonymously, the social cost of saying something horrible goes way down. Nobody knows who you are. There are no real consequences. So people say things out. So people say things online that they absolutely would not say to someone's face. That's not unique in Korea, right? That's not unique in Korea, right? Because a lot of people in Korea, they have hard time to speak out what they want to say. Very similar to Japanese culture. It can be a defense mechanism where you don't want to speak the truth to other people. It's safer. It's a defense mechanism, I think. And you may wonder, and I'm a little curious, why do Korean people, let me ask Manus about this. Why do Korean people are scared to speak up in front of people in their life? Yeah, so that's a human psychology, but the specific platform culture in Korea amplifies it in particular ways. But the specific platform culture in Korea amplifies it in particular ways. So here are the reasons. So the idea that Korean people can be hesitant to speak up in public or in group settings, it's a cultural tendency. They aren't scared. It's not a physical fear that they have. It is more of a deep-seated social and cultural pressure to maintain harmony, show respect, and avoid causing discomfort. Interesting. So group harmony, or nunchi, it's an importance of the group. The importance of the group. Korean society is traditionally collectivist, meaning the group's well-being and harmony are often prioritized over individual expression. Speaking up with dissenting opinion can be seen as disrupting this harmony and creating awkwardness. The art of nunchi, this is crucial, Korean concept that means I measure is the subtle art of gauging others' moods, thoughts, and the overall social atmosphere. A person with good nunchi can read the room and knows what is and isn't appropriate to say or do. Speaking out the turn or challenging a superior demonstrates. Yeah. And also here's another one thing that I really don't like about Korea is culture. Confucianism. One of the reasons why Korean people are so living in pressure of not being able to speak for themselves is because of the strict social hierarchy, because of their age, and because of their status. Korean society operates on a deeply ingrained hierarchy based on age, seniority, and job title. This is a legacy of Confucian principle. If you don't know Confucian principle, is the original concept came from China, probably in mid 18th century. Please look it up. It's very interesting. Um, yeah, so Korean people are not being able to speak out themselves because of their Confucius behavior and nunchi, group harmony, and the concept of face. Face refers to a person's reputation, social standing, and self-esteem. It's not just about your own face, but also about saving the face of others. Yeah. So this is very interesting, right? The contrast with online behavior. This is where it gets interesting. As you've seen with terms like K-netizens or ilbe, the anonymity of the internet provides a release valve for these intense social pressures. Release valve for these intense social pressures. Anonymity removes consequences. Online, the strict rules of hierarchy, nunchi, don't apply there anyway. Don't apply in the same way. You don't know the age or status of the person you're talking to, or there are no immediate real-world consequences for being disrespectful or causing someone to lose face. A space for unfiltered expression. This allows for the unfiltered, passionate, and most likely, as you probably seen, my Southeast Asian friend, they can be very aggressive with the expression of opinion, which is sometimes completely unacceptable. Yeah, that's and why can they do that? Because when you're online, you're avoiding that face-to-face setting. Yeah, so being in online is where you pent up frustrations and individual thoughts that are suppressed in daily life can be voiced freely. That can be voiced freely. Yeah. So in essence, the quiet, differential person in the office and the aggressive, opinionated K-netizens online can sometimes be two sides of the same coin, shaped by the same powerful social pressure. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening to Korean people. They are just letting things go. They're just letting who they are in this online presence because they don't have to show their faces. Like literally, like I said, yeah, they don't have to worry about this concept of face when they are talking in front of people in online because there's no people in front of you, right? So yeah, so when you are posting anonymously, the social cost of saying something horrible goes way down. Nobody knows who you are. There are no real world consequences. So people say things online that they absolutely would not say to someone's face. That's not unique to Korea. That's human psychology. That's like everywhere. I'm sure netizens in United States, Europe, Russia, China, Japan, Southeast Asia, like Thailand. Yeah. Like I'm sure all the netizen people are mean and nasty. I don't think here's one thing that I really believe in. I don't think it's just Korean people. I don't think it's just Korean netizens who are nasty in their online presence. I am so sorry for Southeast Asian friends who were hurt, but here's the thing. Don't believe everything that they say in online. It's just like people are putting their they are covering their face. Like they mean it. They really mean it when they are doing this. So, yeah, there are a lot of specific platform culture in Korea, amplifies it in particular ways. There's also a feedback loop that makes things worse. Korean tabloids and news portals actually report on netizen reactions. So a comment gets written, it gets upvoted. A new portal writes, netizens react to X. More people see it, more people pile on. The outrage becomes its own news story. And it's a cycle, right? It's like a snowball that's dropping from the mountain. More people see it, more people pile on. The outrage becomes its own news story, and then this this news story generates more outrage round and round. What do you guys think? Yeah, exactly. Like this is why people become so nasty in what they want to say. Yeah, so it's pretty odd. I don't think Manus is really. I don't think Manus is that good in creating images, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. There's also a feedback loop that makes things worse. Korean tabloids and news portals actually report on netizens' reactions. So a comment gets written, it gets upvoted. A news portal writes, netizens react to X, more people see it, more people pile on, the outrage becomes its own news story. And then that news story generates more outrage round and round. So when you see a screenshot circulating that says, look what K-netizen said, you're usually not seeing what South Korea thinks. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, guys. When you're seeing those screenshots circulating that says, look what K-netizen said, you're usually not seeing what South Korea thinks. You're seeing what a specific subset of users on a specific platform said. That then got amplified. That then got amplified by this machine. Keep that in mind. We'll come back to it. Yeah, what do you guys think? Like literally, like I said, hey Rin, how are you? We're talking about who are those K-netizens and why they're so nasty. Like I said, those K-netizens may not be who you're thinking, who you're thinking. Like I said, most of those people who are K-netizens, like they might be no one, they might be nobody. So my Southeast Asian friends, my question here is, why are you listening to those people that doesn't matter to you, right? I mean, just my advice here is for you to, my advice for you is to ignore that. Let's go briefly of what started this sibling movement in 2026. Let's talk a little bit about what actually happened in 2026, right? For those who may not know what happened. The spark, right? The spark. And I want to be clear that the underlying tensions were already there long before this. But the specific spark was a Day 6 concert in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. There was a dispute over concert etiquette. Southeast Asian fans felt disrespected in how some Korean commenters online responded. This and exactly what happened. This is what exactly happened, right? Screenshots, screenshots circulated, comments comparing Southeast Asian fans to monkeys, mocking reference to rice fields and farming, and it exploded. Yeah, that's what really exploded, right? Hey, Rin, you work in the film industry, so you kind of understand. Yeah, it's not new, right? Like this online fights, it's not new. Um, so when it exploded, within days, you had trending hashtags across Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. The sibling tags, short for Southeast Asian siblings, became the rally point. Yeah, I'm a little curious. What is the history of siblings? Was Southeast Asian people ever united before? Or was it all thanks to K-netizens, right? Do you guys know? Okay, so I'm a little curious if Southeast Asian people were always nice to each other. Because one thing that I know that Vietnamese people can be competitive with Thai people. Yeah, you know it, right? I know it, you know it. Let me check my phone for a second. Okay. Okay, my friends. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about if the Southeast Asian people were actually ever like united before. That I'm a little curious. Are you curious? I'm a little curious about that. Okay, so that's an excellent question. Thank you, Manus. Thank you very much. The history of relationships within Southeast Asia is complex. Boo, 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 boo. Okay, so my question was, did siblings ever united before, or is it the first time? No, it's not. This is not the first time a sense of Southeast Asian solidarity has emerged. Previously, it has happened in 2025. Oh, that's not a long time ago. It was over. Yeah, so there was a protest over motorcycle taxi drivers. Okay, interesting. They were often. Wait, what is this? I mean, okay. Informal solidarity beyond specific hashtags, Southeast Asians have often united informally online, especially in shared cultural spaces. This happens frequently in gaming communities. In the gaming. Yeah, in the gaming, I understand. Yeah. In the gaming communities, like you guys were united against Korea or China. Yeah, in League of Legends or Valorant, where players from different C countries team up. Okay, that's interesting. And so yeah, so the history of Southeast Asian, so technically the history of siblings, the history of the sibling is not so long time ago. It didn't it's not it is it's quite a new thing. Sibling culture is quite a new thing because Southeast Asian countries have not had a great relationship. I mean, just like everyone, right? I guess this is the most critical point to understand. The idea of a completely harmonious Southeast Asia is modern aspiration, not a historical reality. The region has a long and often bloody history of conflict, rivalry, and tension. historical wars. Yeah, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, they were fighting one another for territory, resources. Malaysia and Indonesia had a direct military conflict in the 1960s. South China Sea. Okay. So why are they uniting right now? So now, however, they are all reunited. This is so funny. So why are they united right now? The sibling movement is a classic case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's exactly what's happening, right? The perceived racism from a common external source, in this case, a segment of South Korean netizens. Yeah, that's how they are all united. The insults were not just direct at one country, they were aimed at Southeast Asians as a whole, mocking their economies, skin colors, and the languages. This created a shared sense of grievance that transcended national borders. Yeah. So, I mean, that is the fact, right? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And now that is why, that was one of the reasons why Southeast Asian people are all united. Where was I? Now, okay, within days, you had trending hashtags across Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. The sibling hashtag, short for Southeast Asian siblings, became the rally point. Yeah. So now there's where I want to slow down a little bit and actually explain the two specific insults because they are not random. They are not. They are actually telling. The monkey insults. The monkey insult. Yeah, I think a lot of people were telling me that a lot of Southeast Asian people were furious when Korean people were calling them monkeys. So in South Korean schools, bullying, which they call hakpok, typically targets things like grades, family wealth, and physical appearance, weight, height, that kind of things, right? Calling someone a monkey is not a standard Korean versus Korean insult. It is a specific. It is specifically a I'm so tired, and sometimes it's hard for me to pronounce things. Xenomorphic, xenomorphic, specifically a xenomorphic trope used against outsiders. Historically, in Korea, it's been used against Japanese people, and it's been used to dehumanize people from tropical regions with darker skin tones. So when that word gets thrown at Southeast Asian fans, it's not accidental. It's deliberately, it's a deliberate ordering. Am I pronouncing right? God damn.
Othering.
Ordering. It is a deliberate ordering. It's not accidental. It's a deliberate ordering. It's saying you're not like us. You're beneath us. Yeah. So why do Korean people think Southeast Asian people are beneath them? Do you know? I'm curious. Okay, time to ask Manus. Okay, let's ask Manus. Why do Korean people think Southeast Asians are beneath them? K-netizen. Not Korean people, my friends. I'm sorry about that. Not Korean people, Korean netizens. Yep. So my question here is, why do Korean people, not Korean people, no. Why do Korean netizens look below on the Southeast Asian people? Let's dive in. Thanks to Manus, right? All right, guys. So that is a very direct and important question. The perception among some South Korean netizens that Southeast Asians are beneath them is a deeply sensitive issue. It's crucial that this does not represent the views of all South Koreans. Got it? Guys, remember, this is not for all the South Korean people. Remember that, okay? Remember that. I'm serious. Okay, so first, economic. How do I pronounce this?
Chauvinism.
Chauvinism. Economic chauvinism and the miracle of Han River. The miracle on the Han River. So, rapid economic rise. South Korea's transformation from a war-torn, impoverished nation, the global economic powerhouse, right? Yeah, people call it Miracle Han River. Korea went through a very rapid economic rise, which no one ever anticipated, equating wealth with worth. For some, this economic success has become a primary metric for judging other nations. Countries with lower GDP per capita, like many in Southeast Asia, are sometimes looking upon them as less developed or poorer. The racist comments during the siblings incidents frequently involve mocking the economies of sea nations. Why do they do that? Because South Korea became so rich in such a short amount of time. We did it, why can't they? That's why this is important. South Korea's transformation from a poor country to economic powerhouse, because they went through that, which they are very nationally proud of. They will say, we as a South Korean became so rich in short amount of time. Why can't they? There can be a lack of understanding or empathy for the different historical and political paths of other nations. The sentiment can be an arrogant, we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, implying that other countries are simply not as hardworking or efficient. I guess that's what it is, right? They are judging other Southeast Asian people because, yeah, they think they're poor. South Korea is one of the most ethical, homogeneous country. Yep, that's another reason you probably knew about it. Yep. Internalized global racial hierarchy. Some scholars argue that during its rapid modernization, South Korea internalized a Western-centric global racial hierarchy. In this unspoken hierarchy, white people are at the top, and people with the darker skin tones are placed lower down. This can manifest as prejudice against Southeast Asians who are often perceived as having darker skin. This is also visible in the domestic discrimination faced by mixed race individuals and immigrants in Korea. Okay. Yeah. And I think here's another important point. Lack of meaningful cross-cultural interaction. Despite the cultural exports that Korean people have been delivering, the average Korean person's direct meaningful interaction with people from Southeast Asia is often limited. Exposures might be through tourism, or more commonly seeing migrant workers in physical demanding jobs, which creates stereotyping, right? This limited exposure can lead to harmful stereotyping where the entire population of a diverse region is unfairly judged based on the role of few. Southeast Asians might be stereotyped as mail-order brides, factory workers, and factory workers. I mean, you guys know about this, right? Yeah, it is happening a lot, especially in the countryside, where a lot of women marry those poor countryside men. It's been happening a lot in Korea. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to our story time. if you're curious to know more. Okay, so the farming and rice field insults. That was interesting too. This one's a little more nuanced, so let me explain it properly. Korea has what's called the miracle on the Han River in its national story, a period of extremely rapid industrialization in the second half of the 20th century. 20th century. They went from being one of the poorest countries in the world after the Korean War, becoming a high-income economy in just a few decades. The transformation is massive, part of Korean national identity. That transformation is a massive part of Korean national identity, and in the modern Korean cultural mindset, farming has come to be associated with the past, with poverty, with being undeveloped, with not having made it, with not having made it, with not having made it. So when K-netizens throw rice fields at an Indonesian group, they're not actually making fun of farming. They're saying, you haven't industrialized yet, you haven't modernized yet, you're behind. It's economic elitism dressed up as an insult about agriculture. Yep, it's an insult, like I said. Hi, Penguin, hi. So, is this all of Korea? Look at the data. Now here's the part that I think is most important, where I really want you to stay with me. Because the natural human reaction when you see something like this, when you see monkey memes and rice field jokes spreading, is to generalize. To say this is what Korean thinks. To say this is what Koreans thinks. To say this is what Koreans think. But that's actually not what the data shows. Digital analysts, including researchers from Drone Empire, which tracks social media discourse in Southeast Asia, have consistently found that the accounts behind this kind of aggression are vocally minority. Yeah, it's the minority people who've been talking about this. A small fraction of users generalizing vocal minority. A small fraction of users generalizing a massive percentage of the inflammatory content, and who are enjoying it. I'm pretty sure, like those K-netizens may not even be teenager. Who knows? These K-netizens might be 8 years old, 9 years old, who just started typing. And maybe they are just creating those nonsensical contents to talk badly about Southeast Asian people. Who knows, right? So, yeah, guys, that's what's happening. NYU researchers studying Twitters and X have documented this pattern broadly. The NYU researchers studying Twitter and X have documented this pattern broadly. Platforms are distorted by a small group of users with extreme views who post at extreme high volume. Their content looks like it represents a group, but it doesn't. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me change my angle. I feel like it's it can be better. What do you guys think? Hi, Marcius. I think you're the only person who's here, and I'd like to give you a big thank you for being here with me. Okay. So NYU researchers studying Twitter, yeah, that's what they said. Their content looks like it represents a group, but it doesn't. And here's something important to understand about South Korean society as a whole. Surveys and big data analysis of Korean online discourse about Southeast Asia, when you look at the overall picture, actually skew more positive than negative. I know, guys, Korean people think of Southeast Asian culture more positive than negative. So that is why I kept telling you that I am not understanding who are those K-netizens and why they said that. It is really hard to understand. Marches, thank you, yeah, thank you, thinking that educational. So the most common association Koreans have with Southeast Asia are tourism, business relationships, and warm people. We Korean people think Southeast Asians are very warm people. That doesn't mean that there are no prejudice. That doesn't mean that there's no prejudice. Prejudice. That doesn't mean there's no prejudice. There clearly is, but the prejudice that exists in the general Korean population is different from the active, aggressive, hostile. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Hostile. Oh my god, I need a break. I cannot even pronounce this right now.
Hostility.
Korean population is different from the active, aggressive, hostility you see from the online radicals. One researcher described it as a latent bias, where some Koreans subconsciously see Korea as the leader of Asia, leading to a kind of accidental condensation. That's different from going online specifically to find C hashtags and leave racist comments. The second group is much smaller. Yeah, so why don't we dig deeper about this, guys? How many Korean netizens are talking badly about South Korea, Southeast Asia? Okay, so you know what? In comparison to the whole Korean population. Okay, like I said, most of the Korean people love Southeast Asian culture. We love the people and we love your country. That is why we love visiting your country, right? So those K-netizens who are talking badly, like the number must be very small. It must be a very small group of people who are just looking for a fight, who are looking for that war between people. Yep, Manus is thinking, he's working hard. Ooh, there has been 57,000 conversation that's been happening. That's a lot. Wow. Hey AK, what's up? Hello. All right, Manus, come on. Give us the data. Hi, AK, hi, how are you? Okay. Yeah, so, and when this controversy blew up, you actually saw Korean figures push back publicly. One of the influencer, Jinho Bae, who lives in Philippines, came out and publicly said he was ashamed of racist comment and that they don't represent Korea. Multiple Korean YouTubers said the same thing. Oh, here we go. All right. I have researched the scale of sibling controversy compared to overall South Korean population. The data shows the while sibling movement generated significant online engagement, the number of unique accounts directly involved, the core controversy was 34,000 people. This represents, okay guys, are you reading this? This represents a very small fraction, less than 0.1% of the South Koreans' total population. The high engagement numbers are largely driven by the outrage feedback loop discussed earlier, where a relatively small number of posts are amplified by algorithms and media coverage, creating a perception of widespread conflict that far exceeds the actual number of participants. Yeah, so guys, this is the here's the image. Yeah, like I said, like the actual people who are supporting this sibling engagement, it's very small. It's very small. So you really should not be so worried about like if Korean people actually hate any of the Southeast Asian people or the culture. Yeah. So this is what's happening. So that's not nothing. So like I said, everyone, my Southeast Asian friends, it doesn't mean that it is not nothing. It is not nothing. I understand that you are furious, you are hurt by those thoughtless comments. However, I would like to say that this is far beyond, far different. This is far different from what actually Korea was real. What this is very far from what Korea is real. Okay. Why does this? Okay, so let's talk about it deeper. Okay, so what I'm curious is that this sibling movement has been with us for almost like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month or two. Why is it still happening? Why is this conversation still boiling up? Why does this keep happening? The deeper structure. Here's the harder question. Even if a minority, where does this attitude come from? Even if it's a minority, where does this attitude come from? Why is any of this happening at all? For this, I want to give you a proper structured answer. Not just some people are bad online, there are 4 overlapping reasons. Number 1, the development ladder mindset. South Korea's entire national narrative is built around climbing. They went from being incredibly poor and to incredibly wealthy within living memory. That's genuinely amazing. That's genuinely extraordinary. That is genuinely extraordinary. And they are rightfully proud of it. But here's the problem. When your national identity is we work so hard to climb that ladder, it can slide into a belief that countries which haven't climbed as fast are behind, or less advanced. And Korean society is already strongly hierarchical in its everyday structure. These hierarchies around age, school, prestige, which city you're from, the same ranking logic just gets extended to nations. That is why South Koreans are judging on Southeast Asian people. They are just putting their hierarchy into global level of society. How South Korea, here's another reason. Here's a reason too. Reason 2, how Southeast Asians appear in Korean daily life. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Most Koreans encounter Southeast Asians in 3 specific contexts: as tourists visiting sea countries on cheap vacation, as migrant workers in Korean factories and farms, and as marriage migrants, women from Southeast Asia who come to Korea to marry, often in rural communities. So you might be curious, why do Southeast Asian women are marrying South Korean men in rural? So, guys, you might be curious, right? You might be curious. So why? Like, I was curious too. I mean, there must be a lot of economical reasons, but I will simply summarize it for you, right? I'm not gonna lie. I know there are a lot of Southeast Asian women who come to Korea to marry those uh, uh, men in the countryside. Men in the countryside, yeah, they do marry. They marry often. All right, let's wait. Let's wait for Manus. Let's wait for Manus to give us the right answer. Boo, 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 boo. BBC. Oh, there was a BBC articles on migrant wives in South Korea. That's very interesting. That's very intriguing. Even BBC was curious why Southeast Asian woman was marrying those Korean men. Not just Korean men, right? Like countryside poor men. Yeah. Yeah, so one of the reasons why South Korean men are marrying those Southeast Asian women is because of the low birth rates. People are having a difficult time marrying Korean women. I will not talk about that, and I will talk about that in a different video. But yeah, I will talk about that in a different video. So be patient with that. That's a very interesting conversation that we can also talk about. But we will talk about that in the next group chat. Hey Hugo, how are you? Let's wait for a little bit more. Manus is working very hard to give us the answer. All right, great. Okay, so first reason is demographic and economic challenges in rural South Korea. South Korea faces one of the most severe demographic crises, exceptional low birth rate that everyone knows about. Well, there's only one reason. Let's move on. Yeah, so most likely the trend of Southeast Asian women marrying South Korean men in a rural community is very complex. Yeah, it is because of the demographic crisis. Yeah. Wait, it stopped. Okay, so here we have the full report. Okay, so oh yeah, let's read this. Motivations of Southeast Asian women. So for many women from countries like Vietnam, Philippines, Cambodia, marrying a South Korean man is seen as a pathway to upward social and economic mobility. Vietnamese women, in particular, represent the largest group of foreign wives in South Korea, accounting approximately 1/3 of all international marriages. That's almost the majority. That is almost a majority. A primary motivation is the ability to send money back to their families in their home countries. This remittance often fund education.
Remittances.
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 Oh, fuck. Okay, these remittances Remittance often fund education for siblings or health care for elderly parents in Vietnam or Philippines. The Korean dream. The global popularity of Korean culture creates a polished image for South Korea as a land of wealth, modern infrastructure, and opportunity. Okay. And there's a government policy. This, I didn't know that, but I have heard about it. To prevent rural collapsing, many local municipal governments have historically provided cash incentives from $3,000 up to $10,000. Wow, that's a lot. To the rural bachelors to cover the cost of international matchmaking and weddings. Yeah. So that is a lot of reasons. So all three of these contexts position Southeast Asians in the subordinate or service role related to Koreans. It's not that Koreans consciously think Southeast Asians are servants. It's that those are relationship structures they keep seeing, and over time, that shapes perception. And Korean media shows that blah blah blah. Yeah, and another reason why is that studies of Korean media coverage of Southeast Asia shows consistent pattern where Southeast Asians appear in Korean news, usually in one of those few frames: tourism, labor, or crime. Yeah. That's another reason. And here's another last reason. Last reason is the pale skin and Western validation layer. In 2026, there's a still strong cultural emphasis in Korea on pale skin. This has two separate roots. Historically, having pale skin in agricultural societies mean you were wealthy enough not to work outside. It was a class maker. That's true in many Asian countries, not just Korea. But there's a second layer more specific to modern Korea. Strong orientation toward Western, meaning American and European, standard of beauty and global success. Korea's ascent was closely tied to its relationship with the United States. For some Koreans, Western validation represents the ultimate benchmark. And within the framework, they look at Southeast Asian neighbors and apply the same evaluation metrics. This doesn't make it acceptable, but it explains where it comes from. All right. So, guys, I want to address this question directly. Is this racism or classicism? Because I see people argue about it constantly. Some people say it's not racism. It's just economic prejudice because Korea is richer. And some people say no, it's flat out racism. Here's the honest answer. You can't actually separate them cleanly in this context. You cannot actually separate them cleanly in this context. What's happening in what scholars call racialized classicism, the economic judgment, you're poor, you're less developed, gets attached to physical features, skin tone, facial features, regional origins. It becomes packaged deal. You add animal comparison, dehumanizing languages. That's no longer just economics. That's racism operating through the vehicles of class contempt. Academic analysis of Korean discourse specifically described the prejudice against Southeast Asians as form of racial hierarchy, where nationality, race, and economic status are fused, not layered specifically. Yeah, so how do you tell the differences between K-nets? So you might be curious, right? Okay, so there are a lot of K-nets who are disgusting. Very small amount though. There are a very small amount of number though. Who are those K-net people and normal fans? This is interesting. How do you tell the differences? Now let me give you something practical. because a lot of watching are fans of K-pop, Korean dramas, fans of K-pop, of Korean dramas, of Korean culture, and you're trying to figure out, am I engaging with someone who genuinely hates me, or is this a troll? Here's a breakdown that actually pretty useful. Here's a breakdown of actually that would be useful. Guys, this is very, very important. This is very, very important, okay? Guys, this is so I would like to tell you guys what's troll and what is not. So if you're a racist K-nets, if you're a troller, you will say GDP memes, birth rates, monkey images. If you're a normal Korean fans, they will talk about music, choreography, artist talent, languages, incel slangs, aggressive machine translated insults. They will not say that. Those Korean people will speak in their standard Korean or polite English. Most of the behaviors will also be different. If you're a racist K-net, they will actively seek out C hashtags to start conflicts. If you're a normal Korean fans, you will usually unaware of this conflict even happening. Yeah, this distinction is complex, but yeah, if you're literally, oh my god, I forgot to screen share. So like I said, if I give you a little bit of a highlight, if you're a racist K-net person, you will talk about birth rates, monkey images, while normal Korean fan will talk about music and artistic talent. Languages will be very different. Normal Korean people will speak polite English or standard Korean. They will not look for C hashtag and look for the conflict. They will not look for the fights in X or Twitter. They will not look for the fight. And most of the times, if you're a normal Korean fan, you will usually unaware of this conflict ever happening. I'm not even kidding. Like I said, I just like myself too, right? I didn't even know what was happening with this whole sea conflict. The normal Korean fan is often caught in the crossfight, sometimes being targeted by retaliated comments from Southeast Asian netizens, who may not realize that the person they are interacting with has nothing to do with the trolls. This creates a cycle where both sides feel attacked by a group they don't actually belong to. That's my point, guys. This last point is key. The average person in Seoul the average person in Seoul is genuinely likely not to know this war is happening right now. They will not know that this war is ever happening. It's that concentrated. You are mostly dealing with a small number of accounts that go looking for conflict. That doesn't mean the harm isn't real. Seeing those comments is real. The emotional impact is real. But knowing the source of matters for how you respond, that matters, right? Yeah, so guys, let me end with this let me end my conversation. Let me end with hey little udon, what's up? Hey, no gaming, sorry. Let me end with the things I think people on both sides are getting wrong, because I want to be fair here. On the side of some C audience, the biggest mistake is generalizing. When you say Koreans are racist as a blanket statement, you are applying the exact same logic to an entire nation that you are protesting when it's done to you. You're not fighting a country, you're fighting a specific culture of online behavior that lives in specific platforms and communities. That distinction matters both morally and strategically. And Oh my god. I am very dumb, guys.
Strategically.
Strategically. On the side of the Korean media, a lot of coverage has framed this as soft power problem of Korea. Yeah, on the side of Korean media, a lot of coverage has framed this as a soft power problem for Korea. The worry is about Korean reputation and economic interests in Asian. That's a real concern, but it centers Korea's interests. It doesn't center the actual experience of Southeast Asian fans who got compared to Animal Online. Those are different conversations, and they shouldn't be collapsed. On the side of everyone, we keep treating online behavior as representative of offline reality. The research consistently shows it isn't. Social media platforms, especially anonymous ones, are structurally built to amplify extreme voices. What trends is not what most people think. What goes viral is not what most people say. That's not a defense content. It's a reminder that your outrage is being manufactured as a specific location by specific machine. And understanding the machine is how you fight it more effectively. All right, guys. So here's where we land. K-netizens are not monolith.
Monolith.
Monolith. K-netizens are not monolith. They never were. They're an ecosystem, civic activists, fandom, communities, anonymous forums, and ideological fringes all operating under the same label. The specific insults you've been seeing, the monkey comparison, the rice field jokes, they are not random. They come from a specific logic, economic hierarchy, a legacy of development pride. Media framing, development pride. Media framing that positions Southeast Asia as subordinate and an online culture that rewards the loudest, and most transgressive voices. The conflict is real, the harm is real, but the picture is more complicated than Korea hates Southeast Asia. Understanding that doesn't mean accepting it. Understanding that doesn't mean accepting it. It means fighting it more accurately. If this video helped you understand something you didn't before, share it with someone who needs this context. And if you've got questions or things you think I got wrong, drop them in the comments. Thank you. My name is Leo. Thank you for watching. My name is Leo. Thank you for watching. My name is Leo, and please like and subscribe. Okay, guys. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for watching. My name is Leo. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope you learned something from it. Yeah, learned something from it. Thanks, guys. All right, let's end it here. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Bye.